All right, let's get bleak, shall we? Imagine, if you will, a world where Russia as we know it ceases to be. Not in a Thanos snapped his fingers kind of way, more like a slow, agonizing decline culminating in a messy, chaotic implosion. It's not pretty. And before you say it, no, this isn't some doomsday prepper fever dream, although it might give those bunker-dwelling weirdos some grim satisfaction. The reality is, the potential collapse of a nuclear power with a landmass spanning 11 time zones isn't just a hypothetical for a Tom Clancy novel. It's a scenario with very real and very terrifying global consequences. Imagine a world where one of the largest countries on the planet suddenly collapses. The repercussions would be profound and multifaceted, with significant geopolitical, economic, and humanitarian implications. So picture this. The Russian Federation, a patchwork of republics held together by duct tape and the iron will of a rapidly aging ex-KGB agent, finally unravels. The seams burst. Regions with about as much in common as a walrus and a toaster suddenly find themselves needing to figure out this whole governing yourself thing, and it gets messy. Fast. Think Yugoslavia in the 90s messy. Chechnya, Tatarstan, Dagestan. They all remember what it was like before Moscow's yoke, and let's just say they might not be keen on a reunion tour. Add to that simmering ethnic tensions and long-suppressed separatist movements, and you've got yourself a recipe for a full-blown free-for-all, complete with border disputes, resource grabs, and enough ethnic cleansing to make Slobodan Milosevic blush. Meanwhile, on Russia's western border, the European Union is facing a crisis of biblical proportions. Forget Brexit, forget Greece's debt crisis. This is an exodus the likes of which the world hasn't seen since, well, possibly ever. Millions, potentially tens of millions, fleeing the chaos, desperate for safety, stability, any semblance of normalcy. Except, there's just one problem. Europe isn't exactly known for its open-door policy when it comes to mass migration. Remember the 2015 Syrian refugee crisis. Multiply that by, let's say, a factor of 10, add a dash of nuclear anxiety and a heaping spoonful of good old-fashioned xenophobia, and you start to get a sense of the scale of this humanitarian and political clusterfuck. Chapter 3. The world runs dry, an energy crisis for the ages. But hey, at least things can't get any worse, right? Wrong. Europe scrambles to accommodate millions of desperate Russians, while the world realizes its reliance on one giant, unstable, nuclear-armed gas station. Russia holds a monopoly on a significant portion of the world's oil and gas. When pipelines run dry, the global economy crashes. It's a tailspin reminiscent of the 1970s energy crisis. That gas-guzzling SUV? Not so practical now. Forget affordable heating, air travel, or anything needing more energy than a stationary bike. Chapter 4. From the ashes, terrorism finds fertile ground. As if a refugee crisis, economic collapse, and the threat of nuclear war weren't enough, let's not forget about those delightful folks who thrive in chaos and instability, terrorists. With Russia in shambles, vast swaths of territory become ungoverned spaces ripe for exploitation by extremist groups. Think ISIS, but with more nukes and a fondness for borscht. Suddenly, the prospect of a terrorist group getting their hands on a nuclear weapon or a bioweapon doesn't seem so far-fetched. And if you thought airport security was bad before, just wait until they start checking for polonium-210 in your toothpaste. Chapter 5. The New World Order Opportunity and Danger in a Post-Russian World. In the aftermath of Russia's collapse, the global order is thrown into disarray. The United States, long accustomed to being the world's policeman, finds itself overstretched and grappling with its own internal demons. The European Union, already teetering on the brink, faces an existential crisis. And then there's China, patiently waiting in the wings, eager to fill the void left by Russia's demise. With an eye on Siberia's vast resources and a growing military might, China seizes the opportunity to assert itself as a global superpower. The world watches with bated breath, wondering if this new world order will be one of cooperation or conflict. The future is uncertain, a world on edge. The collapse of a major global power like Russia would send shockwaves across the globe. From political fragmentation to economic meltdown, the implications are vast and far-reaching. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about understanding the stakes and preparing for the unexpected. Stay informed and prepared for the unexpected.